Welcome to Hong Kong Brief. Hong Kong's eased mortgage rules for unfinished flats will not boost market. South China Morning Post. First-time homebuyers in Hong Kong are not expected to rush to buy unfinished properties despite relaxed mortgage rules, analysts warn. Changes introduced on Friday mean that eligible buyers of unfinished properties worth up to 10 million Hong Kong dollars, $1.3 million, only need to make a 10% down payment, compared with a previous threshold of 6 million Hong Kong dollars. However, analysts argue that previous mortgage rule changes have had limited effect on the market. Hong Kong table tennis teams top their groups at Asian Games, but Koreans await. South China Morning Post. Hong Kong's men and women's table tennis teams have topped their groups in the Asian Games tournament, with the women doing so despite star player Du Hoikem nursing an elbow injury. The women will face Kazakhstan in the last 16, while the men's team will face North Korea. Both teams are hoping to improve on their bronze medals from 2013. Even China's 1.4 billion population can't fill all its vacant homes, former official says. Reuters. A former official in China has stated that even the country's population of 1.4 billion would not be enough to fill all the empty apartments in the country. China's property market has been hit hard by the crisis, with developers struggling to pay their debts and homebuyer sentiment remaining low. As of August, there was a combined floor area of 648 million square meters of unsold homes, which is equivalent to 7.2 million homes. This does not account for residential projects that have been sold but not completed due to cash flow problems, or vacant homes purchased by speculators in previous market upturns. The former official's negative view of the property sector contradicts the official narrative that the Chinese economy is resilient. Daredevil, who scaled London's 225m high cheese grater named by police. The Independent. A Hollywood daredevil has been charged with causing a public nuisance and aggravated trespass after climbing to the top of London's Leadenhall building without ropes. Lewis Davis was arrested on Friday after being seen scaling the 225-meter-tall building. He has been granted bail and will appear in court on October 6. In May, French daredevil Remy Lucidi fell to his death while climbing Hong Kong's Tregunter Tower complex. Texas Laura Cha pledges tighter ESG disclosure, easier capital access for firms. South China Morning Post. The Hong Kong Exchanges and Clearing, HKEX, plans to raise its standards for climate-related information disclosure and provide easier access to capital for green tech firms as part of efforts to support China's carbon neutrality goal. HKEX chairwoman Laura Cha Shi-Mei Lung stated that the exchange aims to enable global investors and the financial market to access complete climate-related information easily. The HKEX has also proposed implementing new reporting requirements next year that align with international standards for disclosures. China is expected to require over $20 trillion in investments over the next 15 years to achieve its sustainability goals. India to delay import licensing of laptops by a year, sources say. Reuters. India is likely to delay a plan to require licenses for imported laptops, tablets, and personal computers by a year, two government officials said, in a breather to companies such as Apple, AAPL.O, Samsung, 005930.ks, and Lenovo, 0992.hk. Anderson surprised at Hong Kong efforts in Asian Games opening match. South China Morning Post. Hong Kong coach Jorn Anderson has predicted that his side's high-intensity approach against Uzbekistan in their opening match at the Asian Games will not be repeated in Monday's rematch. Uzbekistan won the opening match 1-0, but Hong Kong's disciplined defense frustrated their opponents for 90 minutes. Anderson believes that both teams will make changes for the rematch, with their focus now on Wednesday's match. Hong Kong would need to beat Uzbekistan by 2 clear goals to win their group, but Anderson is not willing to risk a tired team for the next game. How Hong Kong can build urban climate resilience. SCMP opinion. Hong Kong must enhance its urban climate resilience to address the increasing intensity and frequency of extreme weather events caused by climate change, according to Natalie Chung Sum-yu, a member of the Council for Carbon Neutrality and Sustainable Development. She highlighted deficiencies in infrastructure design and drainage systems during a recent rainstorm, and called for upgrades to infrastructure, the use of preventive measures, and the implementation of floodgates in subways. Chung Sum-yu also emphasized the need for public education on protecting against extreme weather and reducing individual carbon footprints. Why did Trudeau dawdle on Chinese election meddling? Foreign policy. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has announced a public inquiry into how China has meddled in Canadian politics. This comes after months of resistance to the idea, during which time allegations of Beijing's interference have continued to emerge. The inquiry is expected to uncover some deeply uncomfortable truths for Trudeau's government. Trudeau himself has attempted a difficult balancing act with China, promoting trade and diplomacy while trying to address human rights abuses, illiberal trade practices, and foreign meddling. However, allegations suggest that Beijing has made efforts to undermine politicians who are skeptical of Chinese influence, while supporting those who are friendlier to the regime. Celebrating Filipino heritage will contrast with migrant narrative, food vendor. The Independent. Mark Corbin, co-founder of the Adobros, a Filipino supper club in London, hopes that celebrating his Filipino heritage during East and Southeast Asian (ESEA) Heritage Month will contrast with the negative narrative surrounding legal migrants and asylum seekers in the UK. Corbin believes that by being part of ESEA Heritage Month celebrations, there will be more focus on promoting Filipino culture, which he believes is seldom celebrated in the UK. He hopes that these events will raise the profile of the Filipino community in the country. 12,000 athletes and a lotus-shaped mega stadium. The Asian Games comes to China. CNN. China's President Xi Jinping will officially open the Asian Games in Hangzhou at the city's iconic lotus-shaped mega stadium. The stadium, known as the Big Lotus, features a roof made up of 28 large and 27 smaller petal-shaped structures and can hold 80,000 people. The Asian Games, the largest ever, will see over 12,000 athletes from 45 countries participate. The opening ceremony will feature digital fireworks instead of traditional fireworks to promote environmental responsibility. Hangzhou, home to Alibaba, will showcase cutting-edge technologies such as cloud computing and artificial intelligence during the Games. Hong Kong relaxes mortgage rules as property market falters. Bloomberg. Hong Kong is relaxing its mortgage rules for homes under construction in an effort to support the city's property market. Eligible first-time home buyers can now pay just a 10% down payment for properties under construction with values of up to 10 million Hong Kong dollars, $1.3 million. Previously, buyers of such properties valued over 6 million Hong Kong dollars could only obtain a 70% loan-to-value ratio, resulting in higher down payment requirements. The move is expected to boost sentiment in the first-hand property market, but experts say more measures are needed to address the overall property market. Cities on screen, Milan cinematic style. Financial Times. Milan is a city that has been featured in numerous films over the years, with its rich history, fashion, and industrial background making it an ideal backdrop for storytelling. Some of the most notable films set in Milan include I Am Love, 2009, which portrays the city's stunning beauty with a touch of prison, Miracle in Milan, 1951, a whimsical tale of poverty and fantasy, and La Notte, 1961, a sleek and bleak portrayal of Milan's moneyed classes. Other films include Il Posto, 1961, which follows a young man's attempt to find his place in corporate Milan, and Rocco and His Brothers, 1960, a neo-realist epic that explores the city's poverty and social divisions. Theorem, 1968, is an intriguing film set in a grand estate in Milan, while Story of a Love Affair, 1950, brings film noir to the city's artificial lake. The recent film House of Gucci, 2021, tells the story of the doomed marriage between Maurizio Gucci and Patricia Reggiani, with Milan's iconic locations playing a prominent role. These films capture different aspects of Milan's history, culture, and societal dynamics, making them an interesting watch for anyone interested in the city. Raffles London and the new era of superlux hospitality. Financial Times. Raffles London at the Old War Office (OWO) is set to open on September 29, 9 years after the building's sale by the UK Ministry of Defence, having cost £1.4 billion, $1.9 billion, to develop. The hotel will have 120 rooms, 85 residential apartments, 9 restaurants, 3 bars, a spa and gym. The OWO is part of a wider trend in London for billion-pound hotels, which also includes the Peninsula on Hyde Park Corner, due to open this month. Other high-end hotels that are set to open or reopen in London include a Mandarin Oriental in Mayfair, the Emery opposite Hyde Park, and a Six Senses hotel in 2024. The new hotels all aim to combine luxury with the feel of a resort, and many are using brands that are already known in Asia, which is expected to drive the biggest growth in luxury tourism. The large costs of developing these hotels have been enabled in part by branded residences, privately owned apartments that can recoup initial outlays more quickly. Raffles London at the OWO has sold half of its 85 residences, including to buyers such as Michael Bloomberg and Todd Leland, the president of Goldman Sachs International. However, some wonder if London can sustain so many luxury hotels, and the industry is experiencing an arms race of luxury offerings. Luxury London hotels are now charging unprecedented room rates, with prices for the smallest rooms at Raffles starting at £1,100 per night, and the cheapest room at the Peninsula starting at £1,300 per night. The OWO's rates escalate to over £3,500 per night for a quarter of the rooms, while the most expensive room, the 5-bedroom penthouse, is priced at £100 million. China Evergrande halts creditor meetings in risk to $20 billion debt workout. South China Morning Post. China Evergrande Group has cancelled creditor meetings scheduled for next week as home sales slump and lawsuits mount. The company is seeking to reorganize $20 billion of defaulted debt and claims in the largest ongoing workout by a Chinese company. The developer offered new bonds, convertible debt and stakes in its property management and car-making units to appease creditors. Evergrande said the imposition of criminal coercive measures against its personnel will not affect its operations. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6Do Brief via email.